Good afternoon, James here, DCC Train Automation. I've had a few people asking about our point motors that we sell, the MTB MP1 and MP5. So the two differences between these two, the MP1 is their entry-level point motor. So we have a volt-free relay to switch the polarity of the frog. So these three terminals are for the frog polarity, and these three terminals are for switching the point motor drive. So this can be driven via DC or DCC. If you'd want to drive it via DCC, you need to connect it up to an accessory decoder, and we have a 4018 here from Digikeijs, which we'll go through in a minute. But you could also drive this just from a DC switch, and that's pretty simple as well. There's quite a few things we can set on this. So we have a rod here that either goes, so you can put it underneath, and the rod, this center screw, if we undo this, we should not drop it out like that. We can, from underneath, set the height into your point motor. So different thicknesses of baseboard, this you can do. You do not have to cut it off, so you can just have it so it's just lower than the tie bar, and then tighten up the center screw like that, and that sets it. You can leave this hanging down underneath the baseboard. You then have two other adjusting screws on the side here. So if we slacken those off, if I can see it, there we go. You can move this center part on the moving part, so you can get very fine adjustments in certain directions. So I'll just put that central for now. So you get adjustment laterally. You can also adjust the distance of travel. There's three you can choose from. You have to undo two screws on the back, take the baseboard off, the base plate off, take this out, and there's a little pin that you move to three different positions, and it gives you for N gauge, 00 or greater distance you want to travel. And put it back together, and that's that one. The other one that there is the MP5. Now this is very much similar basis. It is slightly deeper, so the profile, you can see it's a a few mil deeper. It's more powerful motor than this one. So if you have points which you're physically bending the rails, like tillig points where it needs to hold it, needs a bit more power, this might be more suited to you. This also has 2 volt-free relays, so you could use one, for example, for your frog polarity, and one you could drive a signal or a mimic panel light, or if you had some computer control, you might want to have a feedback message to say, I have actually thrown to this direction of travel or the other direction of travel. So you can use that other volt-free relay for that. This can also be driven digitally or via analog. So nice little unit. This also has the benefit of a plug. So you can wire this up, put this under and then plug it in. It works really well. I quite like this. Suits me. So how do we wire these up? So it's pretty easy. On the back of this plug there's all the holes. What you have to do is cut off about 10 mil of wire. That then goes in the hole. You push the orange plunger down and push it in, release the orange plunger, and then as you pull it out it locks it into there. So just get a little screwdriver, push the orange tag down, put the wire in, release the orange tag, just give it a little tug, and that tightens it up, and now you can now see that it's tight in that plug. So to drive this point motor you need 3 wires, a positive common or negative common. It doesn't actually matter for this because it's a DC motor, it would just drive the other way around. And then 2 returns left and right. So that would be 1, that would be the common, and then 2 other wires. We did have a 3rd one there. There we go, the 3rd one. So then we can see you've got the blue's the common, and then the white is the 2 directions of throw. So that is how you'd wire it up. Then you can plug that into the point motor, like that. These would then go back to your switch panel or your accessory decoder. So that's what we've done. We've connected up to accessory decoder, and we'll show you that how to set that up and how it works with the DR4018 from Digikeijs. Okay, so we have here A DCC system, it doesn't have to be this DR5000. This could be a Z21, NCE, any DCC system, but the Hornby Elite will work with the DR4018 accessory decoder. This accessory decoder can drive multiple different items. It can drive solenoid point motors, DC stall motors or DC motors. So you could use tortoises, this could drive 2-wire or 3-wire, or Kato solenoid point motors as well. This can also drive signals or lights, multi-aspect signals, almost anything that you'd want to drive underneath your railway except for servos. So the DR4018 is an accessory decoder for any device. As you can see here, we've got a signal input. So this is the DCC power in. So this is off your bus. That just goes back to our DCC system. And then power. In this instance, we've just looped on from the DCC in to give it power. But if you're driving a lot of accessories, you'll use more and more power. You don't really want to drain your track power for driving your locos to drive your accessories. So what you could do on the 4018 is, rather than loop the power from the signal in, is have a separate DC power supply, 12 volt, 4 amp power supply to drive the device. So the power in here would drive the device. The signal just sends the command to make the device drive. But it uses the device, it uses the power to drive the device. But in this instance, we're using it off track power for demonstration purposes. So here we can also show you an image of the PM1 or MP1 even. So from the DR4088, we've got 3 wires that go in. That drives it, and then the volt-free relay output, which you can also see on here. This is just an image, same thing. This would be the purple wire in this instance goes to the frog, as you can see, and then the 2 blue wires coming out, they've just got it to the 2 rails, but that could back to your DCC bus. So as the blade went to the one way or the other, it would switch from either rail to give the frog power correct for the travelling of the loco. No need for auto frog juicers or anything, it works perfectly. So with the 4018, we need to set this up. Some people may have used this device, some may have not. So the first thing we need to do is decide what accessory address we wish the module to start at. So this can drive up to 8-point motors. So output 1, we want to choose an address. So for example, it might be address 9. So you press the program button, the red light then comes on. Once the red light is on with your DCC system, you just throw the digital address that you want the output to be. So in our instance, we're using the DR5000 configurator. You open up control, go to switch. Now I said we want to start at 9, so you just fire an accessory address of 9 once. Then if you look back at the 4018, the red light's gone out, so that means it's accepted the address. Now it's ready for programming. Now with this type of point motor, it needs to be put in a certain mode, and the Digikeijs have some presets which allow us to do this. So in the instructions on page 31, we want to use 8 turnout drive control systems. So drive is just like a DC motor or stall motor. So it's a CV47 to a value of 6. Now the way you do that is like this. On the accessory decoder, you press the program button to put in program mode. We're programming this on the main, so if we go to the program track, it's now program on main, and it needs this address 9999. This allows us to talk directly to that accessory decoder. So CV47 to a value of 6, you can just write it. It then confirms that. You then turn off the programming of it. Now this device, all 8 outputs are set to the preset to drive these motors. So then if we go back to our switch panel, we've got it on output 2 and 4. So that would be 10 and 12. So they're switching. So you can see the MP5 moves one way and the other, and the MP1, a bit slower, moves as well. So that's how you would use this accessory decoder to drive MP1s and 5s and their P6s and 7s. All available on our website. If you need any more information, let us know. Hope this has been helpful.